The wind ran wild across the open fields that morning, carrying the scent of dust, rain, and something restless, like the land itself was whispering of secrets buried beneath it. Inside a weather-beaten farmhouse stood Evelyn, her heart trembling as she looked at the cracked wooden door of the cellar. It wasn't just a door to her, it was a cage. Her husband, Mark, had locked her in there so many nights she had forgotten what sunlight truly felt like. He wasn't always cruel. Once, he was charming, the kind of man who could talk to horses and make a woman feel safe. But the years had turned him bitter, jealous, and angry at everything he couldn't control. And Evelyn? She had become the shadow of the woman she once was, until the day she heard the sound of hooves outside the house. A stranger had ridden into town a few days ago. Folks called him Luke Dalton, a cowboy who carried a silence heavier than his saddle. He didn't talk much, but his eyes, blue as the Texas sky after rain, had seen things that could break a man or make him kinder. When Luke first met Evelyn at the old supply store, she had a bruise she tried to hide beneath her scarf. He noticed it but said nothing. Only his eyes softened, like he had silently promised something he couldn't yet name. That evening, thunder rolled across the valley. Mark came home drunk and angry again, accusing her of things she never did. The shouting echoed through the walls, until finally he dragged her to the cellar, threw her inside, and slammed the door. The lock clicked, a sound that froze her heart. Darkness wrapped around her like a cold river. But out there, Luke had seen Mark's wagon racing through the storm. Something inside him twisted, that old ache of watching wrong things happen and doing nothing. He had done that once before, and it had cost him everything. He wasn't about to do it again. He rode hard through the rain, his horse's hooves splashing through the mud. Lightning carved the sky, and the farmhouse came into view, a lonely ghost on the hill. He dismounted, pushed the door open, and called out, "Evelyn." Only silence answered, then a faint cry from below. He found the cellar door, tugged, but it was locked tight. He could hear her voice trembling from inside. "Luke, please, help me." That was all he needed. He stepped back, kicked once, twice, and the door burst open, wood splintering into the dark. He reached down and lifted her into his arms, her face pale, her body shaking. But her eyes were alive again. For the first time in years, someone had seen her pain and refused to walk away. Outside, the storm was fading. Luke wrapped his coat around her and whispered, "You don't have to go back there." She looked up at him, rain dripping from her lashes. "But where do I go now?" "Anywhere the sun touches," he said softly. "I'll take you there." And as they rode away, the farmhouse behind them fell silent. Like it had finally lost its hold over her. The wind carried the scent of wet earth and wild freedom. Evelyn leaned against his chest, feeling the warmth of a man who had no reason to help her, except that he still believed love could save something broken. That night, under the open sky, Evelyn looked at Luke and said quietly, "You didn't just break that door. You lifted me into the light." He smiled, that small, tired smile cowboys give when they've seen too much but still choose to care. "Guess that's what we're all looking for, ma'am, a little light." The fire cracked between them, the stars above endless and kind. Somewhere in that quiet, two broken hearts began to heal, slowly, gently, beautifully.